First question is, and this is really topical, I think, is how do you bring on board white employees who are starting to feel slightly fatigued or alienated or about some of the discussions around race equality? Because as you've noticed, it's just come right back up, and it doesn't feel particularly new, but it has a lot of focus.
Yeah, the reason I'm hesitant is because I think I don't understand the fatigue. so in that regard, what is that about? And I mean that genuinely. What is the fatigue about? Is the fatigue about, oh, enough already? We talked about race. It's just too much. It's too difficult. Or actually, I don't know what to say. It's all very hard. Or actually, this is not a topic that's all of those things. I think are happening when white people say, "Oh, enough," and so for me, what is that about? And that's the conversation that I think we need to have, because if we are content that people will be discriminated against for any facet of their identity just because of that, why are we content? So to me, it's a great question, but it's not a question that I can answer. It's a question that we have to have the conversation about. What is it that is creating that barrier that says, actually, I don't want to talk about it, or I can't talk about it, or I'm tired about it, it's too much, surely all lives matter. So I'm being crude in my answer, just to kind of stimulate the fact that actually this is the conversation that we need to lean into. Over to you, Denise.
No, I strongly agree with that. And I also think that one of the things you talked about we all share a protected characteristic, and making the analogy, so let's talk about our lives and talk about our families' lives and our friends' lives and how we would want them to feel and what they would want done to challenge inequalities. And I think some of it is just straightforward racism and people need to get over themselves, but some of it is, I think, sometimes worried that I think it's really good that there is an issue around socioeconomic background, because I do think there's something that some organisations have done, which is that they've set a target for their senior management team about being diverse around other protected characteristics, and they've thought we'll have X number of Black or Asian or minority ethnic board members, we'll have this many of women, we'll have this many who are lesbian and gay, and the whole issue about class gets forgotten. And so that's the only bit of it that I think needs to be brought into the conversation, because actually just parachuting people in at the top does nothing for the majority of people within the organisation. And the reason I highlighted that civil service report is because actually, if you look who has the least chance of getting on, it's Black working class women. And when you address it in that way, that becomes really clear that this is not just about, quick fixes and people being seen to be, treated unfairly. It's about understanding what it is in our society that has been embedded in the culture of our organisations and makes things unfair. Yeah. And we need to understand racism, and we need to understand the difference.
I got the question, and it just doesn't resonate with me. And obviously, I am white, and I might be part of other protected characteristics. But what I really like about that is whoever prompted that question, they felt comfortable enough to say it, because that then means you can have a conversation. Yeah. It really does tell you that your organization or your communications or whatever you're doing isn't quite resonating with some people. They don't recognize that in themselves. And I think that's just then the challenge for us in terms of leaders, and then all the supporting stuff to do, to just go, okay, we're not quite getting everyone, and you're never going to get everyone, but at least someone's telling you, I need help to understand this better, if they are tired or fatigued or however they put it. But it does prompt a conversation that you can do something about it. So I think in some ways, that's that glimmer of hope for me, that people feel comfortable saying that, and then we can do something about it.